Sai Ram, dear listeners. Live broadcast of the proceedings from the Sai Kulwant Hall at Prasanthi Nilayam will follow shortly. Please stay tuned.
సాయిరాం. మరికొద్దిసేపట్లో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలోని సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపం నుండి ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారాలను మీరు వింటారు. దయచేసి వేచి ఉండండి.
Sai Ram, dear listeners. Live broadcast of the proceedings from the Sai Kulwant Hall at Prasanthi Nilayam will follow shortly. Please stay tuned. సాయిరాం. మరికొద్దిసేపట్లో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలోని సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపం నుండి ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారాలను మీరు వింటారు. దయచేసి వేచి ఉండండి.
हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यवहुतोत इषवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुत ते नमः यात इषुः शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः शिवा शरव्यायातवतया नो रुद्रमृडया या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकशीः यामिषुङ्गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे शिवाङ्गिरित्रताम् कुरु माहि गुंसीः पुरुषम् जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छा वदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगदयक्ष्मगुं सुमना असत् अध्यवोचदधिवक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक् अहेगश्च सर्वान् जम्भयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुः सुमङ्गलः ये चेमागुं रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षु श्रिताः सहस्रशो वैशागुं हेळयीमहे असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि स दृष्टो मृडयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वा नोहन्तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरार्त्रियोर्ज्याम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वपा अवतत्यधनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षशते शुधे निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विज्यन् धनुः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागुम् उत अनेशन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मीढुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुजा नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्याम् तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो य इषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निधेहितम् नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः नमो हिरण्यबाहवे सेनान्ये दिशाञ्च पतये नमो नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यः पशूनां पतये नमो नमः सस्पिञ्जराय त्विषीमते पथीनां पतये नमो नमो बभ्रुषाय विव्याधिनेन्नानां पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्यै जगतां पतये नमो नमो रुद्रायातताविने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां पतये नमो नमो रोहिताय स्थपतये वृक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो मन्त्रिणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो भुवन्तये वारिवस्कृतायौषधीनां पतये नमो नमः उच्चैर्घोषाय क्रन्दयते पत्तीनां पतये नमो नमः कृत्स्नवीताय धावते सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय निव्याधिन आव्याधिनीनां पतये नमो नमः ककुभाय निषङ्गिणे स्तेनानां पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिण इषुधिमते तस्कराणां पतये नमो नमो वञ्चते परिवञ्चते स्थायूनां पतये नमो नमो निचेरवे परिचरायारण्यानां पतये पतये नमो नमः सृकाविभ्यो जिघागुंसद्भ्यो मुष्णताम् पतये नमो नमोऽसिमद्भ्यो नः कञ्चरद्भ्यः प्रकृन्तानाम् पतये नमो नम उष्णीषिणे गिरिचराय कुलुञ्चानाम् पतये नमो नम इषुमद्भ्यो धन्वाविभ्यश्च वो नमो नम आतन्वानेभ्यः प्रतिदधानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नम आयच्छद्भ्यो विसृजद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमोऽस्यद्भ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नम आसीनेभ्यः शयानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्वपद्भ्यो जाग्रद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमस्तिष्ठद्भ्यो धावद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो अश्वेभ्योऽश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नम आव्याधिनीभ्यो विविध्यन्तेभ्यश्च वो नमो नम उगणाभ्यस्त्रिगुं हरेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गृत्सेभ्यो गृत्सपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो महद्भ्यः क्षुल्लकेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रथेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रथपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सेनाभ्यः सेनानिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः शत्रुभ्यः संग्रहेतृभ्यश्च वो नमो नमस्तक्षभ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः पुञ्जिष्ठेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः इषुकृद्भ्यो धन्वकृद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमो मृगयुभ्यश्वनिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमश्वभ्यश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च गुप्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिपिविष्ठाय च नमो मीढुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नम आशवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शेभ्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय चावस्वन्याय च नमः श्रोतस्याय च द्वेप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय च परजाय च नमो मध्यमाय च पगल्भाय च नमो जघन्याय च बुध्नियाय च नमः सोभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च नम उर्वर्याय च खल्याय च नमः श्लोक्याय चावसान्याय च नमो वन्याय च कक्षाय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नम आशुषेनाय चाशुरथाय च नमः शूराय चावबिन्दते च नमो वर्मिणे च वरूथिने च नमो बिल्विने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय चाहनन्याय च नमो धृष्णवे च प्रवृषाय च नमो दूताय च प्रहिताय च नमो निषङ्गिणे चेषुधिमते च नमस्तीक्ष्णेशवे चायुधिने च नमः स्वायुधाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पथ्याय च नमः काट्याय च नीप्याय च नमः सूद्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाद्याय च वैशन्ताय च नमः कूप्याय च वट्याय च नमो वर्ष्याय च वर्ष्याय च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नमः ईद्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च ॐ हर 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 ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वधाय च दूरे वधाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्तीर्ध्याय च कूल्याय च नमः पार्याय च वार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आतार्याय च लाद्याय च नमः षष्ट्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रवाह्याय च नम इरिण्याय च प्रपथ्याय च नमः किगुंशिलाय च क्षयणाय च नमः कपर्दिने च पुलस्तये च नमो गोष्ट्याय च गृह्याय च नमस्तल्प्याय च गेह्याय च नमः काट्याय च गह्वरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निवेश्याय च नमः पागुंसव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च हरित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः ऊर्व्याय च सूर्ण्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णशद्याय च नमो पगुरमाणाय चाभिघ्नते च नमः आखिदते च प्रखिदते च नमो वक्किरिकेभ्यो देवानागुं हृदयेभ्यो नमो विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमो विचिन्वत्केभ्यो नम आनिर्हतेभ्यो नम आमीवत्केभ्यः द्रापे अन्धसस्पते दरिद्रन्नीललोहिता येषां पुरुषाणामेषां पशूनां माभेर्मा रोमो येषां किञ्चनाममत् या ते रुद्रशिवा तनो शिवा विश्वाह भेषजे शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजे तया नो मृडजीवसे इमागुं रुद्राय तवसे कपर्दिने क्षयद्वीराय प्रभरामहे मतिम् यथा नश्यमसद्विपदे चतुष्पदे विश्वं पुष्टं ग्रामे अस्मिन्ननातुरम् मृडानो रुद्रोतनो मयस्कृधि क्षयद्वीराय नमसा विधेमते यच्छञ्चयोश्च मनुरायजे पिता तदश्याम तव रुद्रप्रणीतौ मानो महान्तमुतमानो अर्भकं मान उक्षन्तमुतमानवुक्षितम् मानो वधेः पितरं मोत मातरं प्रियामानस्तनुवो रुद्ररीरिषः मानस्तोकेतनये मान आयुषि मानो गोषु मानो अश्वेषु रीरिषः वीरान्मानो रुद्रभावितो वधीर्हविष्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्ते गोघ्र उत पूरुषग्ने क्षयद्वीराय सुम्नमस्मेते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधि च देव गृह्यदा च नः शर्म यच्छद्विबर्हाः स्तुहि श्रुतं गर्तसदंयुवानं मृगन्न भीममुपहत्नुमुग्रम् मृडाचरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतिर्वृणक्तु परित्वेषस्य दुर्मतिरघायोः अवस्थिरा भगवद्भ्यस्तनुष्वमीड्वस्तोकाय तनयाय मृडया मीढुष्टमशिवतम शिवो नः सुमना भव परमे वृक्ष आयुधं निधाय कृत्यं वसान आचर पिनाकं बिभ्रदागहि विकिरित विलोहित नमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रगुं हेतयोऽन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताः सहस्राणि सहस्रदा बाहुवोस्तव हेतयः तासामीशानो भगवः पराचीनामुखाकृधे सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्रा अधिभूम्या तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि अस्मिन् महत्यर्णवेऽन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठा शर्वाधः क्षमाचराः नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठादिवगुं रुद्रा उपश्रिताः ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासः कपर्दिनः ये अन्येषु विविध्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनान् ये पथां पतिरक्षय ऐलभृदायव्युदः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति सृगावन्तो निषङ्गिणः य एतावन्तश्च भूयागुंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्यां येऽन्तरिक्षे ये दिवि येषामन्नं वातो वर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिणा दश प्रतीचीर्दशोदीचीर्दशोद्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मृडयन्तु तेयं विष्मो यश्च नोद्वेष्टितं भोजं दधामि त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सु य ओषधीषु यो रुद्रो विश्वा भुवना विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु ये ते सहस्रमयुतं पाशा मृत्यो मर्त्याय हन्तवे तान् यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वानवयजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो मा विशान्तकः तेनान्नेनाप्यायस्व नमो रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि तमुष्टु हि यश्विषुः सुधन्वायो विश्वस्य क्षयति भेषजस्य यक्ष्वा महेशौ मनसाय रुद्रं नमोभिर्देवमसुरन्दुवस्य अयं मे हस्तो भगवान् अयं मे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्वभेषजो यगुं शिवाभिमर्शनः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ शञ्च मे मयश्च मे प्रियञ्च मे नु कामश्च मे कामश्च मे सौमनसश्च मे भद्रञ्च मे श्रेयश्च मे वस्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणञ्च मे यन्ता च मे धर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वञ्च मे महश्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रञ्च मे सोश्च मे प्रसोश्च मे सीरञ्च मे लयश्च मरुतञ्च मे मृतञ्च मे यक्ष्मञ्च मे नामयच्च मे जीवातुश्च मे दीर्घायुत्वञ्च मे नमित्रञ्च मे भयञ्च मे सुगञ्च मे शयनञ्च मे सोषा च मे सुदिनञ्च मे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my humble salutations at the lotus feet of our dearest Swami, respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to one and all. I stand here today on behalf of the large SSMC team to offer our collective gratitude to Swami for having given us this opportunity to play a tiny role in his grand mission. As we celebrate the 21st anniversary of the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center, it gives me great joy to welcome you all for this evening session. This evening is indeed a very special moment for all of us because today it is not just the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center staff who have gathered here, but also our ever-expanding band of volunteers. Nearly 100 active volunteers of Sri Sathya Sai Media Center are with us now in Sai Kulwant Hall. It is because of their continuous support that SSMC continues to grow. We had a special session for the volunteers in the morning, wherein they had the opportunity to chant Vedam, sing Bhajans, offer their letters and cards to Swami, and also is blessed with photo with Swami too. I am sure that indeed was a most cherished moment for all of them. There are many more devotees all over the world who support us in various ways, but are not here physically with us. We extend our hearty greetings and gratitude to them, and we hope they are all with us now watching this program, wherever they may be. Dearest Swami, I now request your permission to offer a card which has in it all the initiatives that we have been able to undertake in the last 1 year, purely by your grace. We seek your love and blessings, Swami, to take this institution forward in the way you guide us and show us the way. This evening, the staff of the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center have come up with a unique program to commemorate the occasion, and I would now leave the floor open for the program to begin. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. We offer our most loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Swami. Elders, brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you, and welcome to this special program on the 21st anniversary of the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center. Swami would say that we spend so much time thinking about our family, our problems, name, fame, success in life, and so on. If we could spend few moments thinking about the Lord, Swami says the fear of death will be removed from us. The members of the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center, we believe we are doubly blessed because Swami has given us a work that enables us to constantly remain in thoughts of Swami. But what is more beautiful for all of us is he has also given us through that a means to be small instruments in enabling others also to remain in thoughts of Swami. Whenever we have had the opportunity to come here and present a program in Swami's presence, it has always been on Swami's life, Swami's message, and on Swami. This evening is going to be no different. The only difference is going to be the format of this program. We are going to present Swami's life, some well-known facts about Swami's life, some little-known facts and facets about Swami's life through an interesting quiz program. We're going to have 3 teams. We'll come into the details of that shortly. But this quiz program is not going to have merely questions and points for each question answered. Every time the team gets to answer a question right, as you can see, there is a huge board, what is popularly referred to as snakes and ladders, right in the middle of this block here. But not many probably know that the origin of this game is in India, and it was called Moksha Patham. And the game was created to educate people about the importance of spiritual sadhana. The game was created in such a way to develop fear of vices and attraction towards virtues. And that is the idea of having ladders which can raise you up and snakes which can bring you down. And as you play the game, you're supposed to understand what are the various levels one races to in this spiritual journey. But of course, today is not the day where we're going to go into the details of Moksha Patham. But every time a team in this quiz gets to answer a question correctly, they will get the opportunity to roll the dice. And the number that they get on the dice is the points that they achieve. And that means they will be moved in the board by 3 people. We will again see them shortly, will be representatives of each of these teams. Why is this kind of a point system conceived? After all, this is life, isn't it? Our progress in life is a mix of what we call self-effort or talent or skill. But that alone is not what makes us move forward. There is always an unseen component, what is called adrishta. Some people call it luck, some people call it destiny, some people call it providence. Most of us call it Swami's grace, but there is always an unseen component, isn't it? So that is why this game, the progress is based on whether you're able to answer the questions correctly and also how fervently you pray before you roll the dice. Let me now invite my brother Bishu here to talk to us about the teams which will be participating in today evening's event.
Sai Ram, one and all, I offer my salutations at Bhagwan's lotus feet. And the teams that we have decided for today's quiz program are the three paths that take us to God: karma, bhakti, and jnana. And we will find all these three teams going through the roller coaster ride of snakes and ladders, destiny and self-effort, virtue and vices. I sincerely thank 12 students from the undergraduate and postgraduate classes of our university who have very willingly volunteered to join us in this celebration. As I call out their names, I request these brothers to come offer their salutations to Bhagwan, pick up the chit which will decide their team and put on their karma, bhakti, jnana caps. So brothers, please, I welcome, let's all welcome with claps, B. Sai Swarup, Sanjay Sunil Kumar, Tatapuri Sai Gopal, Sai Prasanna, Om Singh, Ujjwal Chetri, Pradyumna Kumar Sahu, P. Vasu, B. Sai Krishna, K. Sai Mathura Krishnan, D. Tilak, G. Sai Krishna. So even as the brothers pick up their chits and go to their respective teams, become the karma, bhakti, jnana brigade, let me also tell you that we have three special invitees, three tiny tots from the primary school who are going to be our karma, bhakti, jnana representatives. They are the representatives of these teams. And now I welcome Ishwar from the primary school. So Ishwar is dressed in a Sevadal costume because he represents the path of karma. We have our little brother Shrijan dressed as Tyagaraja. He represents bhakti. And we have our brother Sai Suprahit. He is dressed as Jnana Sarupa Shankaracharya. So as the game is going on and the dice is rolled after every round, these are the representatives who will be moving on this game on behalf of the teams. So they will go up the ladder if they land on truth. They will slip down the ladder if they land on dishonesty or selfishness or ego. So we will see how the teams answer and how destiny, their knowledge and God's grace makes this team, makes this game an enlightening experience for all of us. Brothers, you can please be seated and wear your caps. This game will have 6 rounds. So there will be a photo round, there will be a visual round, there will be a quick fire round, and so on. The dice will be rolled here, and the first round will be a Ganesha round with Ganesha fervor now in the air. Sir, are all the teams ready? All the Gyanis, may you please put on your caps. So with all the teams ready, can we begin the quiz with a round of applause? Let's begin the Sri Sathya Sai Jeevanamrutam quiz. So brothers, the first round is a photo round, and I'm already giving you the clue. It's all about Ganesha. Let's celebrate with Vigna Vinashaka Ganesha. You will see pictures of Lord Ganesha. You only have to identify the location of these photographs. There is no passing. If you don't answer, you don't answer. It will not get passed on to the next team. So, here is the first question. May we have the first picture on the screen, please?
Can we have the first picture of the Ganesha, please?
Yes. So tell us.
Team Karma.
Tell us the location.
This question is for Team Karma.
Team Karma, Bhakti, Jnana. We
Where
always follow
was
this order.
this Ganesha?
Yeah. Please tell us the location of this Ganesha.
Gopuram Gate.
Okay. Well, it is not entirely right, but Gopuram in a way is part of, say, Sai Kulwant Hall. We give it to you. You have to begin on a positive note. This Ganesha, dear brothers and sisters, was in this very place in Sai Kulwant Hall before the Kulwant Hall came into being in 1995. We had arches and sand, and we had this Ganesha here. So it's part of this space. So it is actually the Sai Kulwant Hall Ganesha in the earlier avatar of this hall. We move on to the next Bhakti round. Bhakti team, can we have the next question, please? Next photo. Identify where is this Ganesha?
Sir, it's in Sri Sathya.
Yes?
It's in Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prasanthi
Yes.
Nilayam campus.
That's absolutely
Absolutely
right.
right. It is in the college. We have lovely pictures of Bhagwan with the college Ganesha. Very well done. We move on. Can we have the third Ganesha picture on the screen, please? Tell us, where do we find this exquisite golden statue of Lord Ganesha? The Jnana team. You don't have much time, just 10 seconds. Come on, come on. You know it or you don't.
Brindavan campus.
Vrindavan where?
Ramesh Hall.
Institute.
It is Vrindavan, but not Ramesh Hall. Ramesh Hall, you have the Tribangi Krishna. It is in Trai Vrindavan. Okay, we give it to you.
Because you got the place right.
You got the
It
place
is in
right.
Vrindavan, but it's Trai Vrindavan.
Okay, so with that we come to the end of the first round, and all the teams have answered. Now every team gets the opportunity to roll the dice. So on behalf of you, brother Ganesh from Team Radio Sai, Team Media Center will roll the dice, and as the dice rolls, whatever number comes, we start moving. Yes.
The dice is rolled and the score for Karma team is 2. So
Yes.
the Karma moves
Yes.
from 1 and
Wow!
Wow. And there it
Amazing!
is.
2. And it is a ladder.
What a start! What a start! Phenomenal! Start with truth. Start the game with truth. Phenomenal. Let's have the dice again, please.
Wow, it's a 6
Sixer!
for
And
Bhakti
that
team.
means there is another ladder at number 6. 1, 2,
Wow.
3, 4, 5, 6. And that's right conduct for you.
The first question, truth. Second, right conduct. We are on the journey, upward journey. Yes. Third time, please.
And for the Jnana also 6.
6. Wow. So we have both Bhakti and Jnana at the same level. They have climbed through Dharma, through right conduct.
So that brings us to the end of round number 1. And as we begin round number 2, in this round, it is allowed to pass the question. In case you're not able to answer, the other teams will get the opportunity to answer. And let us also tell you that starting now, it is going to become a little more difficult to guess. But well, the incentive there is, if you get the answer correct, you get points. If you don't know the answer, you get to learn something. That's better than points, isn't it? So here comes the first question for Team Karma. We have hundreds of books on Swami. Can you tell me which was the first ever book to be written on Swami?
First ever book to be written on Swami. Yes. Come on.
Sri Sai Shwani.
Sri
Sai Shwani.
Saish
Shwani.
Saishwari.
Can you give any more details about that book?
Anything more? Any other fact about that book?
No, sir.
So we'll pass it on to the next team. Team Bhakti, can you take a try? The first ever book to be written on Swami.
You're not going to have more time.
Sri Sai Shuni Charitam.
Wow!
That's absolutely right. So Team Bhakti has got it right. You are pretty close. The first book to be written on Swami was Sri Sayushini Charitra, and it was written by one of Swami's teachers, Shri Kundapa Garu. He was the one who wrote it. The most beautiful thing was a kind of a book launch for this book was done in Chitravati, on Chitravati sands, and Swami had one of his devotees, Miss Leela Mudalya, to read out a few pages. And even as she was reading out a few pages from that book, Swami gave darshan as Shirdi Baba to everyone who was gathered there. And absolutely right, so the point goes to Team Bhakti.
So we move on to the next question. Now this is the question for Bhakti. Can we have the images on the screen, please? All of us know about this episode from Bhagwan's life when he was in Urvakonda, where he had to haul water for the family because of the difficult circumstances in those days. And Swami, we know, used to draw water not only for his own family, he would carry water for the neighbors also. And we also know how once when Mother Ishwarama pestered Swami about the dark patch on his shoulder, that time Swami finally revealed the reason for this. And when Swami revealed that, Mother Ishwarama started crying. She was shocked. And when Mother Ishwarama asked, why did you do this? Why do you have to go through this ordeal? What was little Sathya's reply? What was little Sathya's reply when mother wanted to know the reason for the black patch on his shoulder? You just have another 5 seconds. Come on. Yes?
Yes?
Little Sathya says that your body is given to do work hard.
That is not the right answer,
Not
so
the right answer.
shall we pass it on to the next team? Can you take a guess?
Yes.
So little Sathya says, how long will they endure this brackish poison? I am carrying the waters of life. Let me gladly do this service.
Beautiful. You almost got it. We'll give it to you. Swami definitely says that how long can they survive that brackish poison? I am carrying the water of life for them. And Swami does not stop there. Swami says, it's my duty. I have come for this service only. Swami says, I have come for this service only. You didn't get it fully, but we give it to you.
But you got it almost right, so the point goes to Team Jnana. So now comes the question for Team Jnana. The question is, we all have heard about the story of Shirdi when the epidemic of cholera was about to enter. Shirdi Baba had the flour ground and he had it spread on the outskirts of the village. In a similar fashion, Swami prevented the epidemic of cholera from spreading. What did Swami do as a little boy to stop the spread of the epidemic?
Swami went around the place singing bhajans.
That's absolutely right. The key word in that is Swami did the Pandhari Bhajans that
Yes.
you're absorbed.
So that is how Bhagwan saved the people of Puttaparthi. He got them into Naga Sankirtan, he got them into singing, and now we have Bhagwan himself talking about it. Let's listen to Swami.
పిల్లల్ని పిలిచారు పండర భజన చేయండి.
And Bhagwan wanted boys to do Pandari Bhajan.
మంచి కాడకి గజ్జలు కట్టుకునేది.
And they should have all that which is needed.
మంచి తాళం తీసుకునేది.
And they also picked up the cymbals.
మంచి ఎగురుతూ పోయి పిల్లలంతా కూడా బజార్లో కూడా అందరినీ నిద్రపోయేటువంటి వారిని కూడా మేల్కొల్పేటండి.
Boys sing, dance along the streets, waking up everybody in the neighborhood.
తెల్లవారు 7 గంటల వరకు లేచేటువంటి వారు కాదు ఆ గ్రామంలో.
That was the situation. People didn't get
కానీ
up
నేను
at 7 o'clock in the
భజన
morning.
చేపించడం చేత 5 గంటలకే లేచి
Because of this bhajan
స్నానం
singing,
చేసి భగవత్ ప్రార్థన జరిపేటువంటి వాళ్ళు.
because of singing along the street, people woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
కరతాళములను చేపట్టి దట్టిలంబిగ జుట్టి కామక్రోధముల కొట్టి ఈ షిరిడి మార్గము బట్టి జై జై రంగా జై జై సాయి జై జై అనుచును రయమున రండి.
Taking cymbals, we proceed towards the Shirdi. Come on, dance. Step after step, let us reach Shirdi. That was the song composed by him.
లేపినట్టుగా వాళ్ళు లేపించేది.
And that's the way people woke up.
అప్పుడు అందరూ లేచేటువంటి వాళ్ళు. అదే నగర సంకీర్తన.
That was the mark at the beginning of Nagar
ఎప్పుడు నేను
Sankirtan.
ప్రారంభించాను.
When was it was
ఈ
commenced?
శరీరమునకు 7వ సంవత్సరము.
Bhagavan started this movement of Nagar Sankirtan at the age of 7.
ఈ సుబ్బమ్మ పాపం రాత్రి పండుకునేటువంటి ఈ భజన లోపల నాకు చూస్తే ఏమంటాడో ఏమో అని నాకు తెలియకుండా వెనక వచ్చి ఆమె కూడా తాళాలు కొట్టుకుంటూ వచ్చేటువంటిది.
Subbamma also used to join the chorus in a silent way.
ఈ విధంగా కూడాను పుట్టినప్పటి నుంచి కూడాను ఈ శరీరము ప్రచార ప్రబోధనలోనే కాలం కావించుకుంటూ వచ్చింది.
Right from the beginning, the advent of Bhagavan has been centered around this activity of disseminating knowledge, passing on the sacred teaching to the world.
ఈ పండరి భజన చేస్తుంటే పల్లెల నుంచి వచ్చేటువంటి వాడు
People from the neighboring villages also attended this
ఈ పండరి భజన
bhajan.
లోపల అందరూ తన్మయత్తులైపోయేటువంటి వాడు.
All have forgotten themselves in ecstasy.
So that was the moving story of the Pandari Bhajan. So now, at the end of the round, let's have the dice rolled. So you had Bhakti team getting 1 answer right and Jnana team getting 2 answers right. So we'll have the dice roll thrice. First for the Bhakti team.
So
The score is 5 for Bhakti team. They are right now at 14 and then they move to 28.
Oh, and that's a snake there, so they have to come back.
Oh.
So that's a small setback for the Bhakti team.
No problem. We have a long way to go. Yes.
So for the first roll of the dice for the Jnana team, they have 6 points.
Okay. So Jnana is at number 20 now.
So since they got a point for the Passover question, they get to dial the dice one more time. So Jnana gets to move one more step from 20 to 21. So that's the Mokshapatham board standing at this point after 2 rounds. We'll now move to round 3.
So this is again a photo round, and in this round the question can be passed from one team to the other. Can I have the first photo on the screen, please? Now, what is unique about this picture? This is an absolutely genuine picture, as genuine as it can get. It is not a fabricated image or anything.
Not one from a web designer.
Yes, not from our web designers. Tell us the story behind this picture.
Tell us anything significant about this picture.
Yeah, if not the story, anything special about this picture. No?
Yes? Shall we pass it on?
Pass, okay.
Bhakti team.
Yes?
The story behind this picture is, once a devotee asked Swami, whenever we have any troubles or problems in our life, we come to you and pray to you. And is there someone who is like above you, whom do you pray? Then Swami materialized this picture saying that there is none above me.
No, I don't know
We are
from where
not
you
sure
got
if
this
that story is right. If it is right, then probably we don't know that story. So we will see if Gyana team can come up with the answer. Actually, you don't get too much time.
So you don't know?
Because it's a passed on time, passed on question.
Swami is trying to say that I and you are one.
Okay, so that's a good guess. So no time for a lot of guesses now. So the story of this picture dates back to October 1988, when during an informal session with the MBA students, as Bhagwan was talking to them about management principles, suddenly Swami out of the blue created 30 pictures and 30 identical pictures, this same picture, and then Swami gave it to one of the teachers, and Swami said, "You please distribute it to all the MBA boys." And this teacher said, "Swami, you have created this picture, you should give it to all the boys." Swami said, "What do you mean? I have created only this picture. I have created you. I have created each one of you, each one of the students. Everything, in fact, that you see around is my creation. Everything is me. Every time you talk to someone, you are talking to me." And Swami says, this is what this picture conveys, that the whole world is nothing but him and him alone. And then Bhagavan says that once you reach that stage where you see only me in the world, on that day, when you reach that level, the second Swami in the picture will become you, Swami says. And Swami gives that photo to all the MBA students and tells them, keep it safely in your pocket till you reach that level.
So it is a very, very difficult one. As I said, you didn't get the points, but you got to know something so very special and so very important, isn't it? So we will move to the next team. Again, it's a picture round. There will be a picture on the screen. Can we have the next picture, please? Now, this is the picture. Can you tell us anything significant about this picture, the story behind this picture, or anything interesting relating to this picture? Bhakti team.
Saram, this picture is in Sai Shruti, Kodaikanal, and Swami had instructed the students to buy hats from a hat seller in the Kodaikanal markets. That's the background of the story.
Well, that is enough to get you the points, so you get the point for that question. It is a very, very beautiful episode. This is from the first Kodai trip. The first time Swami started taking students to Kodaikanal. As you rightly said, this is in front of Sai Shruti. Swami went for a drive and came back to Sai Shruti, called the students and said, near the boat club, there is a small boy selling straw hats. Swami said, go and buy from him. And Swami said, no bargaining. Give him as much as he wants because he has not eaten since yesterday. The boy doesn't have parents and he has not been able to make money. So the boys went there to buy these hats. And when Swami was giving this instruction, one of the devotees said, Swami, it is not even hot. Why would they need the hats? And Swami said, the boys don't need the hats, but the boy needs the money. And Swami instructed them to go and buy. And when they went to that boy, the boy was surprised to suddenly see so many customers. And when they asked that boy how much the hats are, the boy said, sir, it's 25 rupees. But since it's not the season, I will give it to you for 15. And the boy said, nothing doing, we'll buy it only for 25. And they bought it from that boy. And they asked this little boy, do you know Sai Baba? And the boy's face lit up. And from his material there, he pulled out a crumpled old paper cutting in which there was a picture of Swami. He said, I know Sai Baba, I pray to him every day. And we know that the prayers were reaching Swami after all. And the most beautiful thing, one more facet of this episode is, before Swami went on that Kodai trip, there was such heavy torrential rainfall in Kodaikanal that the devotees of Kodai told Swami, Swami, probably you should postpone your trip. This is not the time to come. And Swami said, I have decided to come. What rain can stop me? And as Swami started for Kodai from Vrindavan, the rain stopped in Kodaikanal. And only when Swami concluded the trip, rain started again. And the only time in between when it rained was when the boys bought these hats. And just as they were trying, it started drizzling. Swami came that side and said, now it's drizzling, you can use the hats. So that is the most beautiful story behind this picture.
So from the touching story of the hats, let's move on to another very interesting photograph. Can we have the third photograph on the screen, please? So your question, what is the scintillating episode behind this photograph? It has a very, very insightful story. Team Jnana.
Like the previous questions, can you give us any details about this photograph?
Or at least can you tell us in which book this photograph appears?
Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
No, you tried to
That's
guess.
not right. So
That's
any
not
other
right.
clues?
So, this photograph appears in the book Loving God by Professor Kasturi. And the story dates back to the 50s. During the General Hospital construction period, there were a group of devotees very enthusiastic who were serving, hauling cement and bricks for the construction of the General Hospital. And every evening, Swami would spend time with this group. Swami would distribute sweets to them and joke with them and spend a lot of informal time with them. On one such evening, when they were serving Bhagwan and massaging Bhagwan's feet, they were at Bhagwan's feet, one of the devotees took out a camera and clicked a photo of Bhagwan. And immediately after that, Swami told the devotee, hey, you come, you stand behind the sofa, I will take the picture. And then all these devotees, they protested. They said, no, Swami, we don't want a photograph with an empty chair. We want you. And immediately, Professor Kasturi, who was there, he said, what? When Swami clicks a photograph, you think that the chair will be empty? Not possible. And Swami instantly looks at Professor Kasturi and Swami says, you are right, Kasturi, you are right. And Swami goes and takes the photograph. And as he gives the camera back to the devotee, Swami says, be careful. I am there, be careful. And later on, 10 days later, when they develop the photograph, they indeed find Swami sitting in the chair, even though the chair was empty when the photograph was taken. Look at that sweet surprise on Bhagwan's face. Dear brothers and sisters, the very, very important lesson for all of us in this episode, let us remember that no chair placed for Bhagwan anytime, anywhere is ever empty. He is all the time there, whether we are able to see him or not.
And on a lighter note, that probably is the first ever selfie to be taken. So we will now have the rolling of the dice. In this round, we had only the Bhakti team getting the right answer. So Brother Ganesh will roll the dice for Team Bhakti.
Bhakti team gets 2 points. Earlier they were on 19. So can the Bhakti team guide him to come from 19 plus 2, that is 21.
So Bhakti has made a bit of headway here. So that brings us to the end of round 3. Now it is time for round 4. Now in this round, this is going to be a quick fire round. So each of the teams will get 30 seconds. And as many questions as you can get in those 30 seconds. That many points you will get. There will be no rolling of the dice for this round. If you get 6 right, you get to move 6 points ahead. If you get 4 right, likewise. So each of your teams will get 30 seconds and as many questions as you can answer. Are you ready, Team Karma? The first round is for you. I can go as slowly as you want, but the more I can read out, the more questions and more points you can get.
The time starts now.
Who is the businessman for whom Swami wrote a jingle while in Kamalapuram?
Pass.
How many Vahinis has Swami written?
15.
That's right. During the first anniversary of which institution of Swami did he announce the Chennai water project? When was the administrative block of SSIHL inaugurated? Year?
1981.
Sorry?
1981.
Complete the quote. Love with duty is dash. Love with duty is?
Devotion to God.
That's not right.
So
you could get 5 questions, but how many did you get right?
you got only one right. How many Vahinis that you got right? The businessman for whom Swami wrote a jingle while in Kamalapuram, that is Kote Subbana, that you got wrong. During the first anniversary of which institution of Swami did he announce the Chennai water project? It was during the Whitefield Super Speciality Hospital first anniversary. And the love with duty is desirable. We know the quote, love without duty is deplorable, love with duty is desirable, and duty without love is divine.
So Team
Love
Bhakti.
without duty is divine. Love without duty is divine.
So Team Bhakti, are you ready for your questions?
The time starts now.
Swami speaks of 2 pet dogs he had in Old Mandir. What are their names?
Jack and Jill.
Which are the 2 Vahinis written in a question-answer format?
Prashnottara Vahini, Sandeha Nivarini.
In which year was the foundation stone laid for General Hospital in Prasanthi Nilayam?
1954.
After which devotee couple has Swami named the hostel buildings in Vrindavan?
Walter Cohen.
Bear all, do nothing, hear all, say nothing, give all, take nothing, serve all, dash.
Be nothing.
So you got 5 questions. How many did they get right?
Everything right.
That's
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Phenomenal.
So that's a brilliant performance by Team Bhakti. Team Jnana, are you ready for your questions?
And the time starts now.
The temple town where Swami gave darshan in the sanctum when he was a little boy. One of Swami's projects that is named after one of Swami's books. In which year did Bhagwan announce that he would build houses for the devastated in Odisha?
2009.
Who was the first Vice Chancellor of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning?
Dr. V.K. Gokak.
End of education is character, end of wisdom is dash. So those are the 5 questions. Let's see how many you got right.
So you got only one right, the first Vice Chancellor of our university. The temple town where Swami gave darshan in the Sanctum Sanctorum. We all know the story of Hampi. You missed that. One of Swami's projects that's named after Swami's book, Sri Sathya Sai Vidyavahini. Which year did Swami announce that he would build houses for the devastated? You said 2009, it's 2008. And end of education is character, end of wisdom is freedom.
So that brings the quickfire round to the end. Let's see what are the points for this round.
So before rolling the dice for this round, Karma
There is
team,
no roll of dice for this. Whatever is the points, they move on
Karma
the board.
team is on 37 earlier and they have got 1 point, so they move to 38.
38 for Karma.
Bhakti team was on 21 earlier, they got 5 points and then they moved to 26. And Jnana team was on 21 and they have got 1 point in this round, they moved to 22.
Okay, so no roller coaster journeys for all the representatives.
So that was the end of the quickfire round. We'll go to round number 5. This round is on Swami's message. To be more specific, this round is going to be on Swami's analogies and Swami's Chinnakathas. We all know that Swami has this beautiful way of conveying profound truths through simple analogies. I will give you one sample image, something like what the question will be. Let's have the sample image, please. So this is the sample image. If I were to ask you what is the analogy based on this image, most of you will know. There are no points for guessing this. Anyone wants to take a guess?
Yes, Karma team?
Swami tells Namasmarana is the only medicine. People run after high costly medicines, but they don't realize the benefit of Namasmarana.
Can't deny that, but that's not the right analogy. Anyone?
Devotion is not like lime pickle.
Yes? Just once again, please.
Devotion is not like lime pickle to be had only when you have a fever.
Okay.
It is like...
It's pretty close.
That's close.
But that bottle doesn't seem
there is
like a lime
something else
pickle.
more obvious.
The obvious analogy from this is, Swami says that every drug or medicine comes with an expiry date. And after that expiry date, the potency of the medicine is gone. Our karma is also like that, and when we have God's grace, we may go through karma, but we don't find the effect of it when there's God's grace, just like taking a medicine that is already expired. So this is the kind of clue you will get and the answer you must give. So this was only a sample, there were no points for this. Now we'll start the questions.
So are you ready, Team Karma?
Yes.
Can we have the first question of round 5, please? First image of round 5. So as you can see, this is the mosquito net. So what is the powerful message that Swami used to convey through the example of a man inside the mosquito net?
So until we are there inside the mosquito net, the mosquitoes will roam around and will not be able to enter inside. But if there is even one mosquito inside the net, then no one can stop it from biting us.
So what is the lesson there?
The lesson is we should always have the net.
We should always have the net of righteousness and all the good qualities around us, so that the bad qualities can't harm us.
So what is there inside the net?
What is the mosquito equated to?
So the inside we have those bad qualities we have to.
Okay, fine. So that's good teamwork. So yes, that is the answer. Swami says that just as a mosquito net protects you, if there are mosquitoes inside the net, then the experience can be absolutely disastrous. Similarly, Swami says even though you do all satkarmas and bhajans and satsangs, if there are some defects within you, then your life can become miserable. So important to have internal purity. So we move on now to the question for Team Bhakti. Now you're not having a picture, but you're having a little animation, a little video. Tell us, what is this analogy? What is the message Swami used to give us through this story? Yes? Anything strikes you?
Swami gives a very important analogy through this, whatever you saw. Can you guess what Swami's message is?
Yes, come on.
Swami says that people who are in the proximity of the Lord or engage in spiritual practices, they will be saved from any calamities, whereas the fish which were far away from the fishermen, they were caught. So that's what Swami was trying to draw.
Okay, you almost got it. You got sort of the essence of it. So we give it to you. Yes, Swami says that when a fisherman casts his net, all the fishes that swim swiftly towards the feet of the fisherman, they are saved because they escape the clutches of the net. Similarly, Swami says, as all of us are in this worldwide Maya, caught in this net of worldwide Maya, if we always strive to go to the lotus feet of the Lord, we will always be saved. That is the safe harbor for us. We will always be protected if we are close to the feet of the Lord.
It's absolutely incredible how Swami teaches us such profound messages. It's such simple analogies, isn't it? I don't think any master has used analogies as such a powerful tool of disseminating wisdom. So now we'll go to Team Jnana. Again, you'll have an image. this image what you see here, and can you think of an analogy that Swami gives which can be drawn from this image? Team Jnana. Any guesses? Yes?
The bird perches itself on the branches of a tree, but it is not scared when the branches move vigorously because it has belief in the power of it to immediately fly with its wings.
That's absolutely right, Team Jnana. You got it absolutely right.
Splendid.
Again, a very, very beautiful analogy. Swami says a tiny, tiny bird which sits on a very weak branch on a stormy night. There is no sense of fear in that bird because the bird does not trust actually the branch, but it has its confidence in its wings. And Swami says, similarly, the two wings on which you have to have your confidence is God's grace and your own self-confidence. And Swami says, you don't have to depend on Prakriti or nature, you have to depend on the Lord. That's an absolutely correct answer, so Team Jnana also gets it right. So I think all three teams have got their points for this round, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, all three have got the points.
So those were the analogies, but we will be going forward before we take the roll of the dice.
We move on to now Chinnakathas.
So now the question is going to be on Chinnakathas. Again, going back to Team Karma, there is going to be a small animation video. You have to look at it and tell us what is that Chinnakatha that Swami narrates in his discourses. Can we have the video, please? Yes, Team Karma. Have you guessed the Chinnakatha?
So this is a very famous story of Mahatma Gandhi. So what happened was when Mahatma Gandhi's mother would always partake her food after the cuckoo bird sings. So one day the cuckoo bird doesn't appear. So poor Gandhi thinks that if cuckoo doesn't appear, his mother will be empty in his stomach. So he goes outside and makes the sound of the cuckoo. But the mother comes to know that it was Gandhi who did that. So she slaps him and she says that I must have done some mistakes in my past that I've got a son like you. From that day onwards, Mahatma Gandhi stopped speaking a lie and he walked the path of truth.
That's absolutely right, you got it. And a brilliant explanation of that too. Swami says that is the role noble mothers play in the life of individuals. It is because of the nobility of his mother Putlibai that Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi became Mahatma Gandhi, Swami says. So you're absolutely right, 1 point to the Karma team.
So let's move on now to Bhakti team. Can we have the set of illustrations on the screen, please? So look at these three illustrations and tell us what is the Chinnakatha Swami used to narrate and convey a very, very profound message. Yes?
Sairam, that priest is very punctual person. Every day he wanted to have milk sharp at 7 a.m. So that lady used to supply milk to that priest. Some days it became late for supplying milk. So one day what he told was, angrily he scolded her and he told her, even if the boat doesn't comes, you can chant Ramanama and you can cross that river. She took it seriously and she crossed that river by saying Ramanama. That amazed that priest. He even tested her. She succeeded.
That's absolutely right. Just to add a little interesting thing that Swami would say in his discourses. Swami says the priest wanted to try it out himself. He goes to the bank of the river and he pulls up his dhoti before stepping into the water. And Swami said that itself was a sign that he never had faith in Ramanama.
Actually, the milkmaid tells the priest, you come, I am coming. She said, no, I cannot walk on the water. I think it's so important. Swami says that before we preach, it is so important that we have faith in our faith. And at the same time, we can never ever underestimate the power of Ramanama. So those are the very powerful messages that Swami used to convey through that story. Let's move on to the last question of this round on Bhagwan's messages.
So Team Jnana, are you ready? So for you, we are going to play a very interesting audio clip. You should listen to this audio clip and tell us which Puranic story that Swami would narrate in his discourses is associated with this clip. So you will listen to the clip now, listen carefully, and of course enjoy.
Adigedanani kadi wadi janu Adigina tana magadu nuduga nede nedadudugun Veda veda chidi mudi tada bada nadugida tu jalimi Nadugida nedalam Adigedanani kadi wadi janu Adigedanani kadi wadi janu Adigina tana magadu nuduga nedadudugun Veda veda chidi mudi tada bada nadugida tu jalimi Nadugida nedalam.
That is the interesting clip. Can you tell from where Swami is singing this poem or any details about what Padyam that Swami sang? Shall we pass it to the next team if you don't know the answer? Or do you want to take a try? Guess.
Kalinganardanam.
Sorry?
Kalinganardanam.
Sorry?
Kalinganardanam of Krishna.
No, that is not right. So we'll pass it on to the next team, Team Karma.
This is from Bhagavatam.
Sorry?
Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Swami is narrating about Gajendra Moksha incident.
That's absolutely right. The point goes to Team Karma. This is from Potana's Bhagavatam, one of the very, very interesting padyams where Swami describes when Gajendra calls out to Lord Vishnu is playing a game of dice with Mother Lakshmi, game of chess, and he rushes to help. And this is about the predicament of Mother Lakshmi. She's wondering, should I stop him? Should I ask him where he's going? Should I follow him? Should I go along with him? It's a very, very beautiful padyam and absolutely right, Team Karma, you've got it right. So that brings us to the end of this interesting round on Swami's message, analogies and Chinnakathas. Let's have the scores and let's see how we are going to progress in this game now.
So the scores are Karma team stands at 38, Bhakti at 26 and Jnana at 22. In this round, there is no passing to the next team. So the last one, Karma team may not get the score, but Karma team has answered both the correct answers, so they get to roll the dice twice. And same with Bhakti, and Jnana gets to roll once. So can we please have the dice roll for Karma team? The first time's Karma team, the dice says 4. Can we have the second rolling for Karma team as well? The second rolling, it is 3. 4 plus 3, they get 7 points. They move from 38 to 45. Can we please have, for the Bhakti team, the roll dice? They get 3 for the first rolling. Can we please have the second rolling of the dice? 3 and second time it is 1. Total 4 points from 26.
Wow!
That's amazing. So there is a huge advantage for Bhakti. It is crossed and rightly by the name, as the name goes, it reaches love and it makes a huge progress.
So Bhakti through love has taken the highest ladder on the screen.
Now can we please have for the Jnana team? And the score is 4 for Jnana. From 22, they move to 26.
We had karma leading till now, but suddenly you don't know how Swami can help you, how destiny can work miracles with you, and today we have suddenly bhakti leading from nowhere. So let's move on to round 6, probably our last round, and this is going to be the video round. We will not pass the question in this round. So the question for Team Karma: watch this video and tell us the occasion. What is the special occasion associated with this video? Yes. Any idea?
Yes, Team Karma. You had plenty of clues in the video itself. Let's see if you can get it.
Prem, you already gave the clue.
Inauguration of Puttaparthi police station.
Yes.
That's absolutely right. As we said, there were plenty of clues in the video itself.
Very obvious, but we really wanted all of you to see this video because it is so special. Everything around us in Puttaparthi, in Prasanthi Nilayam has that divine touch. There is nothing that our eyes fall on and it does not have Bhagwan's touch on it. Not many of us know that when the street lights came to Puttaparthi first in 1963, Swami gave a discourse. He switched on the light and gave a discourse on that occasion. And Swami said, do not think that light came to your village now. Light came to this village that day the Mahashakti took avatar in this village. And then Swami said, this light will give you light only for a few yards. This divine light will illumine your lives for generations, for millions, forever. That was Bhagwan's discourse when he switched on the street lights. 1964, the first telephone inside the Prasanthi Nilayam ashram. Swami gave a discourse on that occasion too. And Swami said, my telephone system is very different. My telephone system is purely heart to heart, heart to heart. That was Swami's discourse when telephone came to Prasanthi Nilayam. 1996, Swami inaugurated the SBI extension counter inside the Prasanthi Nilayam ashram. Again, a divine discourse on that occasion. And Swami said, the bank provides you a safety locker. You can keep your jewels and documents, precious documents there. But mine is a divine spiritual bank. You know what can you keep in this divine safety locker? The thing that you give it a lot of value. And what is it that you give it a lot of value? Your ego. Swami says, in this divine safety locker, put your ego and be free. You will never have a moment of grief in your life once you surrender and deposit your ego with me. That was Bhagwan's discourse when Swami inaugurated
Swami
the bank.
inaugurated the SBI branch. So that is so beautiful, isn't it? Every corner of this Prasanthi Nilayam, for that matter, anything associated with Swami is so full of beautiful stories and memories. For the next team, we are going to have another beautiful video. Watch this video and let us know anything about this video. Can you tell us anything special about this video that is being played? Can we have the video, please? So, Team Bhakti, can you tell us anything about this episode which is captured so beautifully in this precious video? Yes?
Sir, in those good old days, Swami used to give a chance to the couple to anoint him and garland him, sir. That's from this video.
Okay, that is obvious.
Yes.
But what is special about this video? What is the special episode that took place? Or can you at least tell us? There is a mention of this episode in one of Swami's books. Can you at least guess that?
Okay, at least which book, in which book does this episode appear? It's a book you are very, very familiar with.
So I think we will... yes.
Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Which volume? Okay, now make a guess. Yes?
Volume 2.
Volume?
2.
No, that's not right. There are no questions, I mean, there are no points for passing here, but still, does any of the teams, if you're sure of the answer, you can tell. So you're not sure, there are no points for guessing, but
Volume 1. Volume 1.
we're still at guessing the volumes. Okay, the beautiful episode that is captured here is described in Satyam Shivam Sundaram Volume 3. This was Swami's 43rd birthday, 1968. The lady that Swami walked up to was Mrs. Anderson from United States. She was brought to Prasanthi Nilayam as a person who could not walk. She was disabled waist below. She was being wheeled around. And when she was sitting in the corner on that day when all the other devotees were anointing Swami, Swami told Professor Kasturi, why don't you take the bowl to her, let her dip a flower and bring it to me, and she will feel very happy. And just as Professor Kasturi was walking towards her, Swami himself got up and Swami said, I will go to her. And that is what we saw. Swami walked up to her, Swami allowed her to anoint his head. At the end of it, Swami said, why can't you walk? And Swami patted her knees and Swami said, come with me. And she walked. She had not walked for so many years. She walked with Swami to the dais.
She walked 40 feet. The entire distance she walked, and she came to be part of Bhagwan's birthday celebration.
As we said, you didn't get the points, but you got to see something so very beautiful, isn't it?
So now, the last question in the video round for Team Jnana. So look at this video and observe Bhagwan very carefully. There will be a question on what Bhagwan is doing here.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मां एकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो మోక్షయిష్యామి మాసుచ అనేటువంటి భగవద్గీత యొక్క సారాన్ని ఈ యొక్క గుర్తు లోపల ఇమిడ్చి వచ్చారు.
Most important sloka of Bhagavad Gita is right present here.
Any idea what is Bhagwan talking about? What is the occasion? What is the special
We
thing?
purposely cut it before Anil Kumar sir could reveal it. Let us see if you know what happens there. What was Swami showing? What was Swami talking about?
Christmas occasion, Bible, little Bible, Swami went.
Okay, what is special about the Bible? Okay, we give it to you. It is Christmas, that is obvious. It is Bible, yes, that is also right, but
Must have been difficult because Swami was saying the shloka Sarvadharman Parityajya is there in this.
Yes.
So that was the tricky part.
Yes. And the most interesting thing is, during the Christmas 1996 discourse, as Bhagwan was talking about the life of Jesus Christ, Swami suddenly materialized this little Bible. And then Bhagwan went on to explain the profound significance of this Bible, a Bible which the world had never ever seen before. We will now listen to Bhagwan himself explain about this amazing materialization.
అయితే ఇందులో చాలా 1530 సంవత్సరాల కిందట ఉండినటువంటి మ్యాటర్ అంతా ప్రోగ్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చారు.
They collected all the matter that existed prior to 1530.
ఇవి 530 లోపల ఒక ఇంగ్లాండ్ లోపల ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి ఒక బుక్ను రాశారు.
All that was composed into one book there in England.
దానిని పెద్దదిగా ఉంటే అందరూ కూడా చూడగలరని చాలా చిన్న బుక్కుగా చేసి రష్యన్స్ బ్లాక్ ఓషన్ దగ్గర ఒక పెద్ద బిల్డింగ్ పెట్టి దాంట్లో పెట్టారు.
Russians made it a small book and kept there near the Black Sea in safe custody.
ఆ చిన్నదాని నుండి సమస్తము ఇమిడి ఉంటుండాలి.
In the tiny book, everything is written there.
ఇది ఆ బుక్.
This is the book.
This is the book.
This is the book.
This is the book.
This is the book, the Bible.
This is papers.
These are the papers you see from there.
ఇది ప్రధానమైన చిహ్నం ఈ యొక్క కత్తిలో ఉంటుండాలి. ఇది క్రాస్.
You find the cross on there, on the book.
ఇది సర్వ మతముల యొక్క సమన్వయాన్ని బోధించేటువంటి యొక్క పద్ధతి అని కూడా వారు నిరూపిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
They also proved the fact is the procedure to establish synthesis of all religions.
ఈ గ్రంథములో ఉండినటువంటివి ఏ యొక్క బైబిల్లో కూడా లేవు.
All that present here is not present anywhere in the Bible.
So there is a lot more. So we invite you to go and read the discourse. Very beautifully Swami talks very, very amazing things about this Bible that he materialized in the year 1996 Christmas. So with that we come to the conclusion of the quiz that we had planned for today. Time is running out. We are not extending. A big round of applause for all the participants. And we are so happy. We started with karma and jnana, starting with truth, and we have now bhakti leading the way.
And we'll see what is the points after the roll of dice for the final time.
We have one more final dice rolling to do.
Before rolling the dice, karma is at 45 and they get to roll the dice for the last time. Can we please have the... And they get 4 points for the last time in this. From 45, they move to 49. Bhakti team do not get to roll the dice.
So that is the final point for the karma team. You are at 49.
Sometimes when you think it's over, it's not over yet. And you don't know what surprises will come when. But we are not yet done with the quiz. Now there is a question.
There's one more for the Jnana team. Can we please have the dice roll? Jnana team, this time they get 1 point. From 26, they move to 27, and that is the final score for Jnana
That
point.
is a close one, because if we had got 2 points, there would have been another snake.
So we have now Bhakti leading the way. And as I said, that is not the end of our quiz. We have now something for everyone, for all the audience. Swami tells us that there is one path that is even higher than karma, bhakti and jnana. Any of you, anybody, this is a question even for the audience, anybody willing to answer, what is the path that is even higher than the paths of devotion, action and wisdom? Yes? Love?
That's close, but that's not the right answer. Surrender is not the right answer. Service is not the right answer. Namasmarana is not the right answer. Self-inquiry is not the right answer. Not surrender.
So we've got many what we would think are close. Yeah, we see one boy. Yes, you are the last person. Tell me.
Unity, he says, I don't think. Humility?
Divinity. We are talking about how to reach divinity. So, in Prema Vahini, chapter 30, Swami says that there is one path which is even superior to karma, bhakti and jnana. And Swami says, if you are ever smiling, if you are ever joyful, and if you are ever enthusiastic, then you are on a road which is even higher than all these three paths. Bhagwan goes on to elaborate, and Swami says, such people who no matter what are all the time smiling, they will reach the goal first. Not only that, Swami says, yes, it is not easy. It requires the merits of many lifetimes to have such an attitude. But this is the first task for every sadhaka. After having done 30 chapters of Prema Vahini, Swami says, whether you have understood anything else or not, just have this in your mind. If I am a sadhaka, I should always be enthusiastic. If I am enthusiastic, if I am smiling, if I am joyful, I am on the joy ride to my Swami, to our Swami. So we now request our little representatives from the primary school, the little
Thank them for
Tyagaraja.
participating with us. Bhakti represented by little Tyagaraja, and Karma represented by our little Sevadal brother here, and Jnana represented by the one and only Adi Shankara.
They are going to put on their Ananda caps.
Because whether you're a Bhakta or a Karma Yogi or a Jnana Yogi, you have to be joyful all the time, as Swami beautifully explained.
So let us give them a big round of applause as they put on their Ananda claps. Let us all smile. Let us all exude that joy of being with Swami. Dear brothers and sisters, we don't have to look anywhere for inspiration to be ever joyful. Just one look at Bhagwan's face and all our sorrows melt away, isn't it? Swami says, as devotees, we should all the time be enthusiastic. And if today the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center has achieved anything, it is only because he has filled us with his joy, with his enthusiasm, and he has showed us through his life how to be always joyful, how to be always in bliss, how no matter what, smile, because smile is that one curve that sets everything straight and takes you on the highway to God. We now request all of you to enjoy a special video. As you watch this video, relish your Swami, cherish your Swami, and preserve and treasure these moments in your heart. Let these images of Swami eternally play in your mind and make you smile, make you beam with love for him, and fill you with energy to dedicate your lives for him. As we conclude, I would like to sincerely thank on behalf of the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center to all the participants and all the brothers and sisters who have been with us through this journey, through this lovely odyssey of soaking in his life, in his message, in his beautiful story. Thank you so much. Sai Ram.
ఒక సోంబేరి సన్యాసి ఒక గ్రామానికి వెళ్ళాడట.
One sannyasi who was an idler, he went to a village.
భవతి భిక్షాం దేహి అన్నాడు.
He said, I have come for alms.
ఆ లోపల నుంచి ఒక ఇల్లాలు వచ్చింది. నాయన, మీరెవరో సన్యాసిగా ఉంటుంటున్నారు, ఇదిగో ప్రక్కనే కావేరి నది పారుతుంటుండాది, ఆ కావేరి నదికి వెళ్ళి స్నానం చేసుకొని రండి, ఆకు వేసి అన్నీ వడ్డించేసి పెట్టుతాను కనుక నీవు స్నానం చేసి రండి నాయన అని మంచి మాటలతో చెప్పింది.
When the Hazif came out, and on hearing this, she thought that he was a good sannyasi, and she told him, yes, I shall certainly serve you food. What is the point in giving you some food in your own hand? You better go to the river. Kaveri is very close. Have a bath and come back. I shall have food served for you in the leaf ready for you.
ఈ సోంబేరి పోతూ గోవిందేతి సదా స్నానం అన్నాడు. నాకు గోవిందనామమే స్నానము, దాంట్లో స్నానం చేయమక్కర్లేదమ్మా, నాకు త్వరగా పెట్టండి అన్నాడు.
This idler, he said, Govindeti sada snanam. Utterance of the word Govinda is as good as my having taken a bath. I am ready and let me have my food.
ఆమె మాత్రం తక్కువైనటువంటిది కాదు. ఓహో, ఇది ఎవరో సోంబేరిగా ఉంటున్నాడు, రామనామామృతం సదా భోజనం వెళ్ళిరాపు అనిందిట.
She was also up to him. She was quite clever. She said, Ramanamamrutam sada bhojanam. You have had your food, you can go now.
కనుక మనము ఇక్కడ నేర్చుకున్నటువంటి పదములంతా కూడాను ప్రాక్టికల్లో పెట్టి మీరు కూడాను తరించి ఇతరులను కూడాను ఆదర్శప్రాయాలుగా మీరు జీవిస్తారని కూడాను నేను ఆశిస్తూ ఆశీర్వదిస్తూ నా ప్రసంగాన్ని విరమిస్తున్నాను.
I do hope very much that you will not simply use words like that, but you will put these things into practice. I bless you that you will be able to do this, and I will bring my discourse to a close.
यादों के सफर में दिल चलने लगा है, फूलों के बगियों में मन टहलने चला है. यादों के सफर में दिल चलने लगा है, फूलों की बगियों में मन टहलने चला है. कुछ तो है इन ख्वाबों में दिल से निकलते नहीं, कुछ तो है इन राहों में मिलती यहाँ हर खुशी. अब इन लम्हों के बारिश में भीगने चला हूँ मैं. यादों के सफर में दिल चलने लगा है, फूलों के बगियों में मन टहलने चला है. ये बातें लगती है जैसे यादें आज की. अब इन लम्हों के बारिश में भीगने चला हूँ मैं. यादों के सफर में दिल चलने लगा है. मुझको बसेरा मिला, हर काम में तेरा भरोसा मिला, हर पल हर क्षण तेरा ही प्यार मिला। कैसा ये जुनू है जो तुझसे अब जुड़ गया, कैसा ये सुकून है जो इनसे अब मिल गया। अब इन लम्हों के बारिश में भीगने चला हूँ मैं, यादों के सफर में चलने लगा है, फूलों के बगियों में मन टहलने चला है। कुछ तो है इन ख्वाबों में दिल से निकलते नहीं, कुछ तो है इन राहों में मिलती यहाँ हर खुशी। अब इन लम्हों के बारिश में भीगने चला हूँ मैं, यादों के सफर में दिल चलने लगा है, फूलों की बगियों में मन टहलने चला है। ज्ञान हम सदा तेरे साथ रहेंगे, प्यार की नगरी में सदा, प्यार की नगरी में सदा। तेरे सारे तेरे हम तेरे सारे हम तेरे दिल की आवाज है, होठों पे बस यही राग है, दिल की आवाज है, होठों पे बस यही राग है, हम तेरे साए हम तेरे हैं, हम तेरे साए हम चाहे बदल जाए जहां, धरती बने चाहे आसमां, चाहे बदल जाए जहां, धरती बने चाहे आसमां, हम सदा तेरे साथ रहेंगे, प्यार की नगरी में सदा, प्यार
गुरु चरण कमल ध्यान करो, चरण कमल ध्यान करो। साई साई स्मरण करो, साई साई स्मरण करो। केशव माधव भजन करो, केशव माधव भजन करो। केशव माधव भजन करो, केशव माधव भजन करो। सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो, सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो। श्री सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो, श्री सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो। साई साई स्मरण करो, साई साई स्मरण करो। गुरु चरण कमल ध्यान करो, चरण कमल ध्यान करो। साई साई स्मरण करो, साई साई स्मरण करो। केशव माधव भजन करो, केशव माधव भजन करो। सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो, सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो। सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो, सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो। साई साई स्मरण करो।
रघुवीर रणधीर राम राम राम। रघुवीर रणधीर राम राम राम। रघुमाई विठ्ठला श्याम श्याम श्याम। रघुमाई विठ्ठला श्याम श्याम श्याम। सुकुमार सुंदर राम राम राम। 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 शिरडीश परतीश श्याम श्याम श्याम। 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 रघुवीर रणधीर राम राम राम। रघुवीर रणधीर राम राम राम। रघुमाई विठ्ठला श्याम श्याम श्याम। रघुमाई विठ्ठला
రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ రాముల ప్రేమమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ రాముల ప్రేమమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రామదశాపతి రాఘవ మంత్రం రామ సీతాపతి రాఘవ మంత్రం ప్రేమ నిగుణగణ సేవ నిరంతరం రామదయా పర పరమ పవిత్రం రామదయా పర పరమ పవిత్రం రఘుకుల దశరథ సుత పుత మిత్రం రఘుకుల దశరథ సుత పుత మిత్రం రామ జయం హరి రామ జయం రాఘవ జానమే ప్రేమమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ జానమే ప్రేమమయం శ్రీరామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ జానమే ప్రేమమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ రవికుల దశరథ సుతముత మిత్రం రవికుల దశరథ సుతముత మిత్రం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ జానమే ప్రేమమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ రామ సీతాపతి రాఘవ మంత్రం రామ సీతాపతి రాఘవ మంత్రం రామ శ్రీ గుణగణ సేవ నిరంతరం రామ శ్రీ గుణగణ సేవ నిరంతరం దశరథ సుత ముత పిత్రం నామం దశరథ సుత పిత్రం రామం రామ జయం రాఘవ దానమే యుగమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం రాఘవ రామ ప్రేమమయం శ్రీరామ జయం రామ జయం రాఘవ దానమే రామమయం రఘురామమయం రాఘవ జానమే లోకమయం రామ జయం రఘురామ జయం
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे